Razorback Nation, welcome back into Hogs on the Hill. Welcome into episode 44 of Hogs on the Hill, your go-to podcast for an in-depth dive into all things Arkansas Razorbacks. Join us as we dissect the victories, analyze the plays, and revel in the spirit of the Hogs here. And episode 44 is brought to you by Homefield. You can step into the legacy of collegiate style with Homefield's premium vintage apparel. You can embrace the spirit of your alma mater or your favorite team with their meticulously crafted, comfortable, and stylish collections. Elevate your game day attire and celebrate the rich history of college sports. Homefield, where tradition meets modern comfort in every stitch. You can use promo code Variety Sports to receive 15% off your order. And go check them out today. Fantastic things as you're gearing up for all your Arkansas baseball needs going into SEC play, and as we continue that. Well, guys, as I kind of entitled the episode here, Arkansas is back where it belongs in the Sweet 16 with Coach Cal. We're just a little over 24 hours until Arkansas tips off in the Sweet 16 with the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Kind of prefacing that, how you guys feeling?
It's too late. 9 o'clock, man. I gotta work on Friday, but no, going into the game, I feel really good. To be honest with you, I'm a little concerned about their 3-point shooting, and we'll get into it a little bit. But other than that, I really do like what Arkansas brings to the table whenever they match up against Texas Tech.
Yeah, I mean, we've had good success with Texas Tech in all sports. So anytime we play them, I'm never scared of anything. It doesn't mean we're going to win. I mean, there's always a chance you lose a game, but I have full confidence in this team. I figured with the game being in San Francisco, I didn't think about it until they actually announced the times. I should have known we were going to get the late slot with the San Francisco game. With it being West Coast and every other game is kind of Atlanta or whatever. So yeah, we got the late game as usual that we always get slotted in. It's either 1 o'clock or 9 o'clock. There's no in between.
Yeah, Arkansas never gets the luxury of having that nice, 6:30, 7 o'clock type of start. That's not too late. Enough to get through the game and get to bed, like you said, for work the next day. I guarantee you there's probably a lot of Hog fans out there that have Friday off with everything going on. Be nice to afford that if possible. But, hey, Whoop Big 00 here says, y'all hear that? It's a wild band of Razorbacks running through San Francisco. I agree. I mean, it's I think the excitement's there. We've heard from Coach Cal some. We've seen some of the open media practice, clips and shots and things like that. And, we got the news earlier in the week that Cal broke on Pat McAfee about Aduthiero is going to be available. He's going to play 10, 12, 15 minutes, he said, give or take. He said, they were going to go through practice yesterday, test out his knee, see how he's feeling. Went through practice yesterday, felt a little soreness, said it kind of bothered him a little bit. During the 15 minutes, I will emphasize 15 minutes of open practice, he wasn't doing anything. But that's only 15 minutes today, so that doesn't necessarily mean anything bad. But there's still the potential that he's going to play probably 10 minutes or so. I think that's kind of what Cal's setting the bar there. Even then, I still think that's going to be beneficial for Arkansas. What do you guys think? How you feeling about the potential return of Theo, even though he may not be fully 100%, but you still get him back for, potentially 10 to 15 minutes in this game?
I feel the same way I did about Boogie Flan, except I'm a little bit less cautious on the hurting Arkansas part because he hasn't been out as long as Flan has. Now, I'm more worried about him hurting something in the middle of the game and having that. Well, obviously, him hurting himself, that's obviously bad. But on another note, it kind of, whenever your guy, one of your teammates goes down in the game, it really does something a little bit to you mentally.
Yeah, it did in Kansas.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's a good example. And I really don't know if they can afford that type of game against or that kind of adversity versus Texas Tech. I mean, Texas they're very good at playing their game. And when we break down the game in a second, I'll tell you why I think we can make them not play their game. And if Arkansas can't, get over that hump, if something were to happen to Theo, I feel like it might really hurt Arkansas's chances, at least going forward in the game. But Theo himself, I mean, the dude's going to do nothing but crash the board. I feel like he's going to go get rebounds for Arkansas, and I feel like he's going to go and go to the rim. And I don't really think he's going to be part of passing around kind of like Boogie was, because that's what Boogie's good at. He's really good at assists. Theo's not really, the assist guy. So if he's coming back in, he's driving to the basket. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So I think that's going to help a little bit about against Texas Tech.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. The knee, you need your knee to do a whole lot of pushing off and burst ability and all that stuff. And the knee is pretty much carries a lot. I'm still concerned he's not even going to play.
I didn't say that he should do it. I'm saying that's probably what he's going to try and do.
Yeah, I know you don't want to get him hurt and stuff. So, when he announced the news on Pat McAfee, I'm like, okay, he's going to play. But then I heard what happened in practice, that his knee didn't feel good, and here we are 24 hours from playing basketball, and it's knee don't really get better overnight. So
I got what if? So what if this is just like a chess move?
That's another thing it could be. Right.
Maybe his knee's completely fine and he's over here trying to mess with Texas Tech.
But it could be. So we'll see. I hope he does play. I hope he feels good. And, we have our full hands on deck tomorrow, because this team deserves that, and they deserve to have the best fighting chance to compete in this tournament.
Yeah. And there's one thing to consider too. They talked about that he also didn't practice, no sleeve, no brace or anything, and maybe that was for practice. And he comes out if he's going to play. Have maybe some type of compression sleeve, some type of light brace on, something like that. Who knows? Like we said, this is all up in the air. It could be some mind games messing with Texas Tech. We don't know, but it's still, like you said, I think it's going to be something that could be beneficial for this team if he can play and be healthy and not risk injury, because that's another body you get back. I don't think any team in the country, if he could help you in some type of way, is going to not be happy to get your leading scorer back that he missed, all that time, and is still your leading scorer. And so, it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. I'm interested to see this matchup too. Woo Pig says TB and a dude taking over tomorrow's game, stamp it. And I mean, that's going to be a big emphasis in this game. Adu, TB, even throw Big Z in there. How are they going to kind of take on and defend JT Toppin? Because I think it's going to be a similar approach you saw against Hunter Dickinson, probably a similar approach you saw against the big man from St. John's. And, Texas Tech came out and kind of some Texas Tech media was talking about how, JT Toppin had been doubted all season against being undersized, against whether it be Kansas, Houston, all in the Big 12 Player of the Year and all this stuff. And sure, but this year's Big 12 I feel like it's safe to say, doesn't have anything on the SEC and the physicality this year. Sure, you're fine in the Big 12, but what happens when you get into SEC, battling an SEC opponent where they've had to face teams like your Alabamas, your Auburns, with guys like Broom, and all the physicality that they bring. I think it's going to be a little bit more difficult than they expect, and hopefully, they can give JT Toppin some problems down low.
Yeah, JT Toppin is no Zuby Ejiofor. Okay, he is a 6'9", so they're same size, 6'9", 220, 230 pounds, something like that. He's not that same guy. He does not have the same fight as Ejiofor, and that's no slight on JT Toppin, because Ejiofor is just an animal down there, right? Like, you can say what you want about him. Whenever he was playing against Arkansas, I liked him. Like, I liked that type of fight. I liked that type of big. While we were playing him, I did not like him. But if the dude ever wanted to come to Arkansas, I would not be upset about it, right? That's the type of player he is. Toppin is a pretty good scorer. He's their leading scorer, I think 18 points a game, something like that.
Yeah.
I don't really know a lot about his defense because I hadn't watched it. But the thing is, when you're going up against three guys who are either an inch or 5 inch, between an inch and 5 inches taller than you, and the guy who's an inch taller than you is one of the longest, most athletic dudes on the court, that's a problem for him, right? He's not going to have a break at all. If Arkansas can do what they did against Hunter Dickinson, they're going to do it to Toppin, right? The paint is not going to be where they want to go. Darian Williams, I think that's what his name is. It's their other quote unquote big, but he's like 6'6". Arkansas's wings are 6'6". Thero's 6'8". He's a wing. Like we have overwhelming size compared to them. And I don't want to say overwhelming athleticism, but through and through, Arkansas is the most athletic team going to be the most athletic team on the court. So I think the paint play, I think Arkansas is going to have that kind of covered. What I'm worried about, like I said earlier, 3-point shooting. They haven't done good this year or in the tournament so far, only going like 25%. But a team that shoots like that all season, they're going to be due for a good game, right? So that's what I'm worried about. If Arkansas can't cover, that part of the game, then I don't really care what's going to happen in the paint because they're just going to shoot us out of the building.
Yeah, because if you look at it, not across the board, but you look at Texas Tech's 3-point shooting, just to kind of look at their top guys. Their best shooter, they have a guy that's very similar to Big Z. Devin Cambridge played 6 games this year. Averages 17 minutes. He's shooting 57% from 3. But that's 6 games, so it's not a season's worth. If you're talking a season's worth and you start looking at it, their guard, Chance McMillan, shoots 43.4%. Their next highest guy, Christian Anderson, another one of their guards, shooting 38.6. And then Darren Williams, that forward you're just talking about, 35%. Right. So it's going to be a little bit different aspect and game plan that Cal's going to have to come up with. And we've had our fair share of battles with teams that shoot the ball well, and we still find a way to fight it out. And here's my thinking about it too. We've obviously talked about it on last week about how, and Big Z has not had his best 2 games in the tournament by far. Didn't play well against Kansas. Yep. Didn't play well against St. John's. I feel like Big Z's due a game now. He's not going to let these poor performances stack up. I mean, you saw him how, his game was against Auburn, and he came back and turned it around. He's not going to let these poor performances continue to rack up in the most important time of the season. So I wouldn't be surprised to also see Big Z come out with a different attitude, maybe a little bit more fire, and, come out and knock down some shots, and not be that guy that's just going to come in and get in foul trouble or potentially foul out and not really be playable.
Yeah, I can see that. If they have someone that'll stretch it, it might be one of the easiest games on offense for Arkansas, and it's going to be the easiest defense Arkansas has faced in the tournament so far. I was watching this Texas Tech podcast today, and they were talking about, this is going to be the toughest offense Arkansas has faced so far, right? Toughest offense, and that's true. They're like, let me see, they're number 5, right? Number 5 in the field, and number 5 just overall KenPom offensive efficiency. Arkansas played St. John's. They're number 66 and Kansas 49. So yeah, they're going to be the hardest ones, right? But Arkansas has played the number 2 defensive efficiency team in the country, and that's everything, and that's not the field. And the number 9 in Kansas. Okay, so Arkansas has played some tough defenses and scored in the 70s, right? Arkansas is. You saw a little bit of against St. John's. They couldn't hit a 3 to save their lives, but they still were able to get to the rim against a team that's the second best defense in the country, supposedly, right? Texas Tech, on the other hand, they've played the number 71 and the number 75 defense.
Yeah, they haven't played
and then number 41 and the 176th offense. So they hadn't played anyone this in the tournament this year. Arkansas by far is going to be and they're not going to be the best offense because Arkansas is number 67. So they're a little bit less than Drake apparently. But they have, all the white guys that can shoot threes. that's what Drake did. But there's a much bigger difference between how good their defense is versus the defenses Arkansas has already played. So I'm not like super convinced those metrics are really, really accurate. Because if we want to talk about their season too, they hadn't played hardly anyone to the caliber across the whole season that Arkansas has. Their offensive, for the whole season, defensive efficiency is number 40, and then number 57, while Arkansas's is 14 and 25, right? So there's a whole this gap between the quality of people Arkansas has played and the quality of people Texas Tech has played. So obviously it's going to help on their offensive efficiency and defensive efficiency numbers. So I've heard, just like you said, I've heard so much stuff coming from the Texas Tech camp because they actually think they have a team that's better than Arkansas. And to be honest, 2 months ago, they probably did. But right now, I'm not so sure. And if Arkansas can stop their threes, it's going to be game over.
Yeah.
Yep. Just like St. John's. They have no offensive identity. So when they couldn't get a foul call, which they got a lot of them, almost every play, but when they couldn't get a foul call, how could they score? They couldn't. So, Texas Tech's going to get punched in the mouth real quick and find out real fast.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things, too, that I saw, in talking about this game leading up to it and you thinking about it, is if you look at Arkansas, too, just roster against roster, yeah, it's easy to look and say, yeah, look at Arkansas, all this talent. But like to Austin's point, 2 months ago, definitely not. But now you have guys playing well. Jonas Adu is playing like he's finally healthy, like we expected him to. You're seeing a little bit of Tennessee Jonas coming out. TB is playing well. You've got DJ probably having his best stint of the season so far. And then on top of that, Carter and Billy, I mean, it's hard to not like there's not enough good things to say about those two guys, especially look at what they did against St. John's. Freshmen stepping up, and you've seen them mature all season, and now they're playing and are crucial roles to this team's success. And then on top of that, you got Boogie coming back where, when that story posted, like Austin said earlier, everybody's like, oh, no, he's going to hurt this team. He's going to come in and, they were 0-5 whenever he was playing, and he's just going to mess up this team and things like that. And I will admit, I was not worried about him hurting the team, but a little bit of that rhythm, I was a little worried. But, I think it's safe to say Boogie proved us all wrong in that aspect of he came out and he didn't hurt the team. He helped this team. How many plays did he make in those two games that helped Arkansas? The steals, the defense, not necessarily on offensive side hitting shots, like because he's still working into getting his shot and rhythm back, but on the defensive end of the court, he played key minutes for Arkansas, giving some guys some breaks. So, and I don't see why it wouldn't be the same situation with Duthero coming back. If his knee is able to hold up, he's able to play and not be hindered, then getting your leading scorer back is going to do nothing but good things for this team.
Yep. I feel you. I'm there with you. I don't see how Other than the circumstance that I said earlier, that's the only thing. That's the only reason I think that him coming back is going to hurt Arkansas at all, because he's smart with the ball. And the thing is, I say that he's going to go to the rack. I don't actually know that. I don't know what his thought process is, but if he wants to, he's going to try and do whatever he can while he's in the game to do it. And
I was about to say, knowing who he is and how he plays,
yeah,
I'm like you. I find a hard time of him not just attacking the rim, just like he has all season, and basically wanting to destroy the rim every play he gets the opportunity.
Right. And what do you call it? Yeah, but the thing is, I don't think, like, if Cal knows something's wrong, he's not going to keep him in. Right. So that's what I'm saying. I don't think it's going to get to the point where he hurts himself unless it's just a freak thing. Because Cal's not going to let that happen to him. Because even in the interview or in the press conference today, he was like, if it starts hurting, you're going to sit. Right.
I think
the priority is him.
I think that's why he didn't play against St. John's, because just couldn't, even though they said there was a possibility. But yeah, I mean, I hope so, man. He's leading scorer. I mean, he was the heart and soul of this team all year long till he went down. I mean, he was the guy that was performing for the team when the whole other team was struggling. So, I mean, I hope he's out there, man. I love Theo, and I hope he comes back next year, but that's probably not a possibility.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is there's going to be a lot of eyes from Cal and this team's medical and training staff during warm-ups tomorrow night. They're going to be really focused on Theo, checking in with him. Hey, going through warm-ups, how's your knee feeling? How's it holding up? Do you feel like you can go? Cal's going to be 100% with him because, like we've said, you're not going to run a guy out there that could risk injuring himself and potentially his future, but also hurting this team. And, one of the bigger games. And it's like Paul said here, you kind of, for these games, you kind of have to throw out the season stats where Arkansas is concerned. The team playing now is completely different from that team that 0-5 started 0-5 in conference play. Over the entire season, other teams we will play have better season stats, but last 15 games is a different story. 100%. And that's kind of what we were alluding to earlier is, sure, you look at Texas Tech's season stats and compare them to Arkansas, and yeah, they may not be that great. Some of our numbers may not be as high on some of the averages and stuff, but that's because we didn't really start playing well until February. So that month and a half of stats is only going to pull your averages up so much. So, like Paul's saying, though, these last 15 games, you look at Arkansas, winning 5 out of the last 7. And, this is a completely different team. And so I'm excited to see what's going to happen tomorrow night. Hate the late tip, but,
Hawgs after dark.
Exactly. Hawgs after dark. That'll be let's see. If I do my math right, a 7:00 tip in San Francisco, I believe.
Yeah.
And so.
And the question is, Florida and. I don't know why.
Colorado State?
No, Maryland.
Sorry, yeah, Maryland.
Should have been Colorado State.
Should have been. That's yeah.
No call. Maryland. They play before us, so if they have a late game, we may even tip off later. So
exactly.
We'll see.
Because that's the one thing Arkansas fans can never count on is the game before you finish in on time.
Right.
Yep.
So it'll be interesting to see. I'm excited to see what is going to happen. It's, if you saw any part of, some of the Arkansas basketball social media when they got back, so they flew back from Providence on Saturday. They were here, and I believe they flew out Monday morning to San Francisco. But in that time span, how cool is it to see that clip of them flying back? Cal's just casually on the phone. Hey, Nolan, why don't you come stop by and come talk to the team before we have to fly out again? And, they showed a little clip preview of him talking to the team and, how cool is that if you're this team making this run, and like Austin's post on social media earlier said, I hate everybody calling this a Cinderella because Arkansas is not Cinderella status. We've been here before. This is the fourth time in the past 5 years that we've been to the Sweet 16. So, and that's what Nolan was kind of talking to this team about. He was like, hey, you guys don't listen to anybody. This is about you guys. And I'm excited to see what fire and energy these guys come out with. I think it's going to be a great environment out in San Francisco. I saw a lot of Hog fans headed out that way to go attend this game. And, I'm excited, hoping that we get the win, and we're playing on Saturday.
Yes, sir. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into it because this is something that I was thinking about for the last half of the day because I was doing a little research at lunch trying to figure out, where Arkansas could have a chance to actually, slow down Texas Tech's offense. Well, I think I might have found it. And I think Arkansas might be able to do it.
Tell us,
Texas,
Coach.
Huh?
I said, tell us, Coach.
No. Okay. I'm not a coach. I didn't even
Coach
follow
Farmer, let's get
basketball like this until I started writing. So bear with me. Texas Tech has the number 52 tempo in according to KenPom, right? So they're adjusted tempo possessions per 40 minutes, stuff like that. So that means they like to play a little bit slower, a little bit more methodic, stuff like that, right? Arkansas is 18. All right. So I think I wrote down that wrong. Hang on. So what I'm saying is they like to play it a little slower than Arkansas does. Actually quite a bit slower than Arkansas does. I wrote down, I think it's 152, not 52. So that
would sound about right. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're way down there when it comes to their tempo. Arkansas is going to push it. And if the one thing that one thing you have to do to have an offense that shoots threes like Texas Tech does is to get in a rhythm. And if Arkansas can be completely just chaotic on defense, never giving them like an inch to breathe, I don't know that they're going to be able to get into that rhythm to be able to shoot those threes efficiently. And so I really think the first 5 to 7 minutes of each half is going to be the most important time in the game, because if they can't get that rhythm right off the bat, I don't think they're going to be able to, start it up in the middle of a half. And the thing is, they haven't even been tested in the NCAA tournament yet, because Drake is dead last at 365 or 64. And then UNC Wilmington is 174. Now, Arkansas's played St. John's, which their tempo is number 56, and in Kansas, which is 113. And Arkansas, like I said, is 18, which is 9th out of the rest of the people in the field. So what Arkansas needs to do is they need to force Texas Tech to play their game, right? It needs to be scrappy. It needs to be kind of ugly. It needs to be fast-paced. There needs to be points in transition, not necessarily points in transition, but at least get them out in transition, or pressure them when they come down like a full 3-quarter or a full court pressure just every once in a while, just to make them not get in that flow of things. Because I'm telling you, dude, I don't think they have anything else that Arkansas doesn't have except for those 3-point shooting. And if they can't, especially since they play so slow, if they can't get into that rhythm, dude, it's lights out. Arkansas is going into the Elite Eight. So that's why I'm not confident in this game, but I think Arkansas has a legit shot of putting this game away easily.
Yeah, that's a big thing. You don't let this Arkansas team get tempo, get up, going up down the court, and getting rhythm, and then you're in trouble. I mean, that's just, you've seen them play that up tempo this year. They get out in transition. They have the athletes, the length the size to just go out there and make highlight plays. I mean, that's what it is. What happens when Arkansas gets in transition? You see those highlight dunks that Brazil's had shown at the end of this season, how he's elevated his play, and he's hunting the ball, getting in transition. Then Arkansas gets getting rhythm, feeling themselves. They start getting steals. They start hitting shots in transition, and then you're really playing a dangerous game if you're Texas Tech and letting Arkansas get in that type of rhythm.
Well, here's the opposite to that. If Texas Tech slows it down and makes Arkansas play in the half court on both ends of on the floor, it could be easily the opposite outcome, because Arkansas doesn't have a great half court offense. It's gotten better. They had a decent half court offense against St. John's, even though they couldn't hit a three to save their life. But they hit like 52 or 57% of their shots inside the arc. So Arkansas has gotten better there, but especially on defense. If they're not like pressuring them as soon as it gets to the half court, I mean, you're just asking for them to set up a three, right? And they're going to hit it, 34, 38% of the time. Most likely they're going to have a really good game since they're kind of due for one. So yeah, it's kind of like that, man, you really got to focus. And I think that first 5 or 7 minutes of the game, and then the first 5 or 7 minutes when they come out of the locker room, that's going to be key for Arkansas.
100%.
Yeah, I mean, the media timeout, that first media timeout, like at a half against St. John's, man, we really made a statement right there to start the half.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like you mentioned, the first part, also closing out the game, man. The way this team has closed out the game the last 2 games, I can't remember what it was, but they've went on some big-time runs in the last 3 or 4 minutes of a game to close these guys out. So they've been answering when it comes to closing time. So big-time players make big-time plays when it matters most.
Yeah. Like Transplant Texan said here, if the team is confident about winning, as a fan, I am too. If, in fact, I'm drowning in the Kool-Aid of Razorback winning vibes.
Dude, I don't know if it's y'all, but like, I haven't convinced myself of this, but I've actually flirted with the idea, because think about who's on their side of the bracket real quick. Texas Tech, which I think is very beatable, right? I think they're going to be hard. I think it's going to be a grind out game. In that scenario where they make each other play their games, I feel like that might switch once or twice within the game. It might be Arkansas's game in the first half and then Texas Tech in the second half, or vice versa. But I feel like that can be an easy game, or not an easy game, but a winnable game. And then most likely they're going to play Florida. Arkansas was a few free throws away from playing Florida, or from winning against Florida in the regular season, right? Florida's good, but Arkansas has shown the ability to, get close to beating them. So fingers crossed, if that were to happen, then Arkansas goes to the Final Four. Who will they play on the other side? I think is going to be Michigan or Michigan State. If Arkansas plays Michigan, they've already beat Michigan. It's hard to beat person twice in a year, but Arkansas knows the formula to do it. What if Arkansas makes it all the way to the national championship? Do you know how elated I'm going to be? Like I'm not going to sleep for a week, right? Or however long it is between the Final Four game and then the final game. I'm not going to sleep.
It's only 2 days.
2 days, I got to look it up. How long can you go without sleep? Because I might die. I don't know.
Oh, man.
I'm going to have to go to the store, grab all their Red Bulls, and just try to keep up with it, because there is no way, like, if they go from 0-5 in conference play and then go to the freaking national championship game, I don't care if they win it. Like, and I know I'm being fan Austin right now. I'm not being what Coach Austin or whatever you guys were talking about earlier. But man, it's like it's so close I can taste it. And like, I know if I can taste it, they can taste it. And that makes me feel even better about it. So yeah, dude, what about y'all? What do you guys think? Do you think it's even possible? I mean, I know it's possible, but is it likely? What are you guys thinking?
Yeah, I mean, I 100% think it's possible. I'm not going to doubt Coach Cal. Like all these Kentucky fans all season were giving us crap, and then now Cal's in the Sweet 16 again, and he's back at Arkansas, refreshed, finding his groove, showing that he's still a good coach, knows how to coach. The way he's motivated this team, if they can do what they did without Boogie Flan, regardless what you think of him, and if he helped this team, hurt this team, whatever, he was one of the most talented and is one of the most talented freshmen in the country. Then you lose a dude Thero, and you keep it going. You motivate a guy like Trevor in Brazil that the talent's there, and you just have to find the way to extract it out and have him play. And he figured out a way to do that after Thero went down. And then now you've got Jonas playing well. You've got Nelly playing well. DJ is, running the offense on the court like a pro. And that's Cal working his magic there and showing that he's not just a guy that can recruit great talent and then, all right, that's what it is. He showed he's still got those X's and O's with some of those inbounds plays. And, Cal didn't forget how to coach like a lot of people thought. So, yeah, I'm feeling it. And, Joe here says, just imagine an Arkansas-Kentucky championship game, because that's very well possible as well.
Dude, movies.
Oh,
I'll make movies about it. I swear.
Make movies about it.
I don't even care if Arkansas loses. They're going to make a movie about it.
Transplant Tech said, Austin, no shame in giving a fan's point of view. It's a magical time for the team and the fans.
Yeah. Like, I love football. Football is my number one, but the basketball has the best postseason tournament. And I know Hobbs is going to fight me on it because of the baseball. But, man. March Madness is March Madness for a reason. It's just, I don't know why. Because it's one, you lose and you're gone. Like, it's all or nothing, and it's just, it's fun.
Well, on top of that, did you see the stats where the Arkansas-Kansas game was the most watched round one game in the tournament?
Yeah. No, it's a big deal. And I really don't know why. Maybe because it was
Cal versus Self. I don't know.
Yeah, probably. And then Arkansas had Arkansas and Kansas were probably the most even matched on paper.
Yeah.
So it was a good time. Like, let's be honest, it was a good time slot.
Probably a lot of hate watching too by Kentucky fans.
Yeah.
So, that had a lot to do with it too. But Austin, we talked about this last show. Me and Caleb did, but I don't think there's a dominant team in this tournament. So, like you talk about UConn the last 2 years where they just ran through everybody. There's not one of them teams this year. You don't see somebody you see Duke doing it, but they played School of the Blind and Deaf the first two games. So I'm not impressed. So,
bro, I have Duke losing to Arizona and
Arizona not bad. That Caleb Love kid,
yeah,
he'd catch fire and knock them out easily. I thought Oregon would be the one to knock them out, but they blew a big lead against Arizona, but. Yeah, I think we can beat anybody in this tournament, so I don't care who we play. I'm ready for a fight.
Hobbs says, line them up and we'll knock them down. Staying on the basketball for a minute. So, as we all know, Monday was opening a transfer portal season. Cal was like, you've got to be kidding me in his post-game press conference after that win against St. John. He's like, so you're telling me I have to prep for another game and start reaching out and recruiting kids and also having meetings with my current team and being like, hey, I kind of need to know if you're coming back next year or not. Well, we know for sure that I've seen Arkansas has reached out to one transfer, and that is one transfer in conference play that could be a big help to this team next year as we're talking about losing Jonas, having to kind of put some pieces in that type of role. Nick Pringle from South Carolina has entered the transfer portal. He is a 6'10", 220-pound elite athlete, averaged 9.5 points this year, 6.3 rebounds, and 0.4 blocks per game. Previously before that was at Alabama.
Look, you don't have
guy
to
has
tell
a
us about
lot of
Pringle.
raw talent.
We know all about him over the 2 games we played them. We know all about the.
I'm ready for the big ass pretzel, or not pretzels, big ass Pringle cans in the student section. That's what I'm ready for. Dude, I saw that. I was like, yes.
Wait, hold on.
Let's get that dude.
Time out. I didn't mean to interrupt you there. Did you say he committed here?
No.
Okay.
I'm just saying, like, I would be ready for
all
that.
right.
Like,
we have contacted him.
Because I was going to say, look out.
That would be breaking news. So
yeah, that would be incredible. That I would think that there would be some kind of
I was about to say, I should have saw that at this point if that happened.
Yeah, Lupick says Pringle has a solid game, true 3-and-D wing.
Yeah, he's got good size too, and he fights. He is the closest thing in the SEC to. I keep bringing him up because I really like how he played, but Zuby Ejiofor, right? He's the closest thing to that in the SEC, but Pringle, I feel like he has a little bit more of a mid-range than Ejiofor did.
Yeah. So, I mean, as we continue going, we'll keep you guys up to date on transfer portal. Not a ton going on right now because clearly, as we know, Arkansas is prepping for a Sweet 16 game. But, Coach Cal and the staff is having some, probably more of his staff having conversations with his guys, reaching out and kind of feeling things out. So that's going to be, a thing to watch out as well. So I'm excited to see what happens in this offseason too, but I don't want the season to end. So we have to start talking about offseason. So let's just keep this thing rolling, and it's going to be fun. I'm excited to see what's going to happen tomorrow night, and hopefully we're talking about and previewing potentially a Saturday game with – it would be nice if it was Maryland, but more than likely it would be Florida.
Yeah. I mean, Maryland's good too. So the thing is, there is no one else left in this tournament that you're going to play where you're like, easy game.
True.
To be honest, the 3 bottom teams, I would probably put Arkansas in the 3 bottom teams. But I would do Arkansas, BYU, or Arkansas, Texas Tech, BYU. That's the 3 bottom for me. And thank God we're playing one of the bottom ones in my list because it'll be hard to beat anybody else.
Just beat a 2 seed. A lot of these other schools ain't beat a 2 seed, so we deserve it.
Yeah, we do. Hopefully, we can do a 1 or a 4 too next.
True.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's going to be fun. As we continue on here, let's jump over to some Arkansas softball as they wrapped up their series with Tennessee on Monday. They had an odd, weird Saturday, Sunday, Monday series where they took the series, got that series win over top 10, 7th ranked Tennessee. Unfortunately, on Monday, they couldn't get the sweep. They lost 3-2 on Monday in a back and forth game. In this one where for Arkansas, you saw Cam Harrison go 2/3 of an inning, allowed 2 hits, 3 runs. So all 3 runs were scored in that first inning by Tennessee. 3 walks, 1 strikeout as well on 32 pitches. Then Reese Berlin came in for the final 5 1/3. Allowed 2 walks, 6 strikeouts for on 84 pitches. Arkansas also scored its only 2 runs of the game in the first inning as well. Thanks to one Bree Ellis. She was 1 for 3 in this game with 2 RBIs and a run scored. So 2-shot home run from Bree Ellis. But I think the story a lot of people took out of this game was Tennessee's pitcher, Carolyn Pickens, threw the hardest softball or the fastest softball in softball history. Or at least Tennessee, at 78 miles an hour.
Yeah, that's
pretty hard for softball.
Yeah, it is.
And Brielle
how far is the circle from the plate in softball?
The mound?
Oh, they don't have a mound. They have a circle.
It's a circle.
Huh.
You didn't know?
Have
you never watched a softball game?
Adult men's softball league. I'm so used to the mound being out there.
Oh yeah, they do the like slow pitch underhanded though, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This is like 54 feet or something like that. It's like much closer than the mound in baseball. So you got to think. I mean, 78 miles per hour in softball is probably pushing 100 in baseball. Like the time. I'll look it up while you guys talk.
43 feet from the pitching rubber to the home plate, and the pitcher's circle is an 8-foot radius. So Arkansas is able to get themselves a win over a top-ranked team, a series win, and that's tremendous, bouncing back from that sweep against Oklahoma, and so you bounce back and get a top 10 win. It's hard to beat.
The equivalent in baseball is 105.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's nuts, bro.
Imagine getting pelted by that.
105 mile an hour baseball.
No, even that 78 mile an hour softball.
Yeah, that's not as bad. It just happened a lot quicker. I mean, it's gonna hurt, but
yeah. So Arkansas drops that game, but still secures the series, which is fantastic. They'll be back in action on Friday at 6:00 in Bogle, taking on Kentucky. As Kentucky is coming to town for their next SEC series. Jump over to some Arkansas baseball, where last night Arkansas and Missouri State went toe-to-toe, extra innings, 10 innings games, and unfortunately Arkansas loses this midweek 14-13, where Missouri State kind of made their comeback with a 5-run ninth inning, where unfortunately Arkansas couldn't plate anything in the bottom of the ninth to kind of walk it off, if you will. Arkansas ran through a few pitchers in this game, and I mean, rightfully so, because, you had a lot of pitchers that didn't get to see action over the weekend with how dominant our pitching staff had been over the weekend. Colin Fisher got the start in this game, going 3 innings, allowed 2 hits, 3 runs, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts, and 54 pitches. You had Ben Bybee come in for relief after that, 1 2/3 for him, 4 hits, 3 runs, 2 strikeouts on 33 pitches. Dylan Carter comes in for an inning in the third, allows 1 hit, 1 run, 3 strikeouts on 20 pitches. Cole Gibbler, probably the most impressive of the night, 2 1/3 with 3 hits, 3 runs, but also adds 7 Ks on 44 pitches. Will McIntyre doesn't make it out of it, doesn't get a single out in this game. 3 hits, 3 runs, 1 walk on 17 pitches for Will. And then Tate McGuire comes in for the final 1 2/3 with 1 hit, 1 run, 1 walk, and 1 strikeout on 26 pitches.
Yeah, I feel like Missouri State was just seeing everything. At least from what I saw, because I really, and y'all can blame the loss on me because I'm not superstitious, but I'm little stitious, right? As soon as I turn on the game, that's when they changed over to Will McIntyre, and then Big Man just, man, that was rough. That was rough to watch, and I thought about turning it, but I didn't, and now I regret it.
I'm going to choose to say that, as far as superstitiousness, my good buddy Steven, every time he goes to the game, gets a pretzel. Every game he's went to and got a pretzel, we won the game. And just to kind of put basis on this,
are we just in like an office, in the office in real life,
right?
Like a pretzel day. You remember that episode of The Office?
Yes, exactly. I love pretzel day.
Who
But we went to
doesn't
the game
remember
on
that episode?
Sunday. We went to lunch before, and I'm like, Steven, are you gonna get a pretzel? He's like, no, we just went to lunch. He said, I'm not feeling pretzel day. I was like, okay. So we sit down, we're watching the game. Arkansas is down early on Sunday a little bit. And as we tie it up, or we're talking about it, and we're a few innings in, and we're like, Steven, we're probably losing because you didn't get a pretzel. And we start talking about it. The people around us are starting to chime in with us, and they're like, man, you don't mess with the streak or the pattern. You don't talk about it and mess with it. And as we were talking about it, we're like, come on, Steven, go get a pretzel so we can, win this game. And as we're talking about it, Arkansas ties up the game. And then everybody's like, all right, Steven, we were talking about it. We tied this up. You go get a pretzel now. Steven goes, gets in the pretzel. What do? We win the game. What did Steven not do? Go to the game last night and get a pretzel. Me and my buddy texted him. We're like, Steven, you better go head to the game right now and go buy a pretzel. And unfortunately, he didn't. So,
hey, you know what? The thing was, like, the short time I watched it, there was just so much that happened that was just weird. Like that Frazier, like where he was on third base and he jumped up like he was about to get hit by that runner, and then the ball goes in the dugout. I'm just like, oh, like it just nothing was working. Nothing was going right.
So
yeah,
that play, my internet cut off on me. I didn't get a chance to see the whole play, but I saw Diggs
back Hawks internet now.
No, it's been acting weird the last couple of days to get on my nerves. I had to reset everything before the show tonight. Luckily, it's working good. But yeah, pretty much. But I mean, I saw Diggs pick the ball up and fire it to third base. For what? Hit the cutoff guy. So everybody on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, is blaming Frazier for not making the play. Yes, it's definitely part of his fault. You got to get the ball, but why are we throwing the ball at third base? You're not going to throw the runner out. Where's the cutoff guy? We got to hit the cutoff guy. So I don't really blame that 100% on Frazier. And he also had made a couple of really nice plays at third base before that. Some guy, whenever they posted the lineup card, some guy said, "Oh boy, we got some shaky defense at third base." He turned around and hit a grand slam in his first at bat. So I retweeted out, "Oh yeah, okay, well, I bet you're glad he's in the lineup, huh?" And he got all mad about that. But you shouldn't make comments about kids on Arkansas's page about their defense. Like, these are kids. And anyway,
well, and also talking about that play, you look at it, the first angle you get was weird, and you're like, everybody's like, why is he jumping up out of the way? Like, why is he just jumping?
Mm-hmm.
Well, then they switched the view of it. He's jumping, the guy's sliding in where he had to jump out of the way because he was wanting to make the play on the ball, but the guy is sliding right in. If he doesn't jump out of the way, he's getting slide tackled by the runner coming into third.
Yeah, and I played third base, so I understand exactly what he was trying to do. He's not trying to get hit there.
Right.
But
and I think the guy that was running, he probably had the same thought that you did. Hey, I just hit it, or he just hit it to right field. There's no way they're going to try and throw this ball to third. So he went feet first instead of head first. So he could just,
Yeah, but I get it. Diggs hasn't played much. He wanted to try to make a play. Didn't work out. The throw was also wide of the bag to his left. The throw should have came in to his right. It's coming from right field. It needs to come to his glove side here. It's going all the way over here. So he's thinking the ball's coming to this side of the bag where the runner's coming in. So, yeah, he's got to jump over him. So everybody in the stands and everybody on X thinks, hey, he shouldn't have done that. Well, okay, you get out there and try to make a play. I'm tired of this. Oh, he don't need to be playing here. This kid is one of the best prospects that we got out of there's a reason he continues to get in the lineup as a freshman. You saw what he can do at the bat with hitting the grand slam as far as he did. This kid can play, and he's also coming off of a arm injury that he had in the before the season started, where he wasn't even allowed to throw the ball in scrimmages. They've had him play in left field. They've had him play at second. So this kid's got a great versatility. And I tell you what, when Aloy gets drafted next year, he's probably going to be playing a lot more at second base or shortstop. So this kid needs the playing time. Iredale had been playing every single day. He needed a day off, and he didn't even get a day off. He had to come in the game late in the game because it got a little intense there. But yeah, it was a weird game. The offense continues to surge. Pitching, the guys you saw pitch yesterday, it was an experiment because, as we all know, our pitching has struggled to our expectations. Even though they've struggled, they're still fifth in the SEC in pitching out of 14 teams. And we know how loaded the SEC is. They're still doing that good. And if you look at the five guys that pitched yesterday, 4 of the 5 guys have an ERA under 4. So they haven't been terrible this year. They just Missouri State wanted that game really badly. They wanted it bad. You could just tell. For example, when they tied the game, they brought in their ace pitcher. Did anybody else notice that? Their Friday night pitcher came in the game in the ninth, bottom of the ninth, and pitched the rest of the game. Or they brought the outfielder in, which is one of their best relief pitchers. But this is what happens in midweek games. These mid-majors try to catch these upper echelon teams. Looking forward to the weekend, and you see it a lot in college baseball where you have these high-ranked teams lose to mid-major teams.
Tennessee last week.
Yeah, Tennessee last week. A couple other teams lost last night. But Arkansas fans have been spoiled because this team has won 18 straight midweek games at home. So they've been spoiled for this team not to drop midweek games, and that's because the pitching has been as good as it is as it was up and down. But the pitching wasn't that great last night. And Missouri State is picked to win their conference. They are picked to win their conference. So out of all the experts in college baseball, they think they're going to be a regional team. And I promise you ain't nobody want to see them in their regional.
Yeah.
And guess what? We got to play them again this year.
On the road.
Is it in Little Rock or it's not?
It's in Missouri State.
We're playing Grambling in Little Rock, and we're going to Missouri State.
That is weird.
And guess what?
Televised?
The same pitchers are going to probably pitch in that game too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
now watch Arkansas might put 20 on them or something like that.
Yeah, I mean that's one thing to expect this Arkansas team, at least up to this point in the season. They're going to score some runs. They scored 13 last night. So, I mean, yeah, you were one short from winning, but, these guys are still finding the offense like Hobbs just mentioned. Look at Frazier, the freshman. Yeah, he had that mistake in the field, but what did he do right before that? His first home run of his Arkansas career was a grand slam that put Arkansas back in front. So, I mean, and to that point, and we'll move on, is everybody's going to make mistakes. It's no need to hate on a guy, bash him, whatever. I mean, Aloy's made mistakes. Iredale's made mistakes. Kozel's made mistakes. Even Ryder Helfig, all these starters. At some point in the season.
Nolan Souza dropped a pop-up
exactly.
that probably could have won the game in the ninth inning. Where is the hate on this kid? I don't want anybody to hate on anybody. But I'm seeing McIntyre hate. I'm seeing Frazier hate. But nobody wants to talk about Souza dropping the pop-up to win the game. Yeah, so I'm just tired of it.
Yeah. And there should be none to begin with, but it's like you can't pick out one specific one, but not talk about other if you're talking about being fair with, being super critical about a midweek game at the end of the season that's not going to make one bit of difference.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, another thing, Souza, luckily his bat's coming alive. He played really good. He hit the ball really well yesterday. But that Frazier kid could have took his spot if he started hitting the ball really well earlier. So this isn't just somebody that's in the lineup just being there. This kid can play. And if he catches fire in these midweek games towards the end of the year, you could see him in some SEC games.
Yeah, 100%. So as we jump over to, talking about fire, this Arkansas hitting has not slowed down any. And if not the hottest Arkansas hitter, and if not the hottest hitter in the entire country right now, Charles Davalon had himself a 3-hit game last night, going 3 of 6 with a run scored. Like what he's doing right now in this stretch of, dating back to, I think, the Charlotte series, I want to say, it has just been insane. Like he's really found his rhythm, has caught in fire, and has had, I don't know what the exact number is, so many multi-hit games in this span. And he's seen the ball well, and he's putting it in play. And he's all that you could want out of a leadoff hitter, plus more with what he's doing right now.
Yeah, I mean, the kids see beach balls up there. I mean, just incredible what he's done. I mean, we haven't had a leadoff hitter like this in a long time, ever since Peyton Stovall's freshman year, where they put him up at the top of the lineup, and he really did well there. But I mean, this kid is he's hitting the ball in the gaps. Like Austin talked about before the end of the year, I want to see more doubles, singles. That's what this kid does. And then every once in a while he'll hit a ball 400 foot. So I mean, he just gets on base. I mean, he almost had 4 hits last night. A left fielder came flying out of nowhere and caught the last ball that he hit. I mean, he's just seeing the ball really well. He doesn't strike out. I mean, he struck out like 3 times all year. It's ridiculous. So he just sets the tone. And, you know, the big thing is when you're on the road, like we're going to Vanderbilt this weekend, and you got a guy like him that's going to start the game at bat, and you got a really good chance of getting him on base to start the game, it just sets the tone early. And then you put him on base for guys like the Lloyd brothers and Maxwell and Iredell. It's just incredible what he's done. I mean, I just can't. It's been more impressive to me than the hot start that Aloy had. Kehio, I mean, because this kid is just, I mean, he's on fire.
Yeah, 100%. You look at the rest of the lineup too. You know, you had Vahiva go 1 of 6 for scoring, knocking in an RBI, 1 run. Logan Maxwell 2 of 4 with a run scored. Justin Thomas came in and scored a run. Kehio 1 of 5, scoring 2 runs. Cam Kojal continues to do well over at first base and hit the ball well in the middle of that lineup, going 2 for 4 with an RBI and 2 runs scored. Kendall Diggs 0 for 2, unfortunately, not the best outing for him. Carson Bowles pinch hitting again. Dave's historically been good at knowing when to pinch hit guys. Well, he came in, put a nice one in play, goes 1 of 3 on the night, 2 runs scored, 2 RBIs. Nolan Souza 3 of 5 on the night, 1 run scored, 2 RBIs. Zane Becker 1 of 4, 3 RBIs for him, and a run scored. You know, he's crucial to getting credited for an RBI when he got walked right before Gabe Frazier came up and hit that grand slam.
No, he got hit on the hands. He got hit. And it hurt too. But yeah. Anytime you get hit or walked with the bases loaded, you get an RBI because you technically got that run in. So
exactly. And then Gabe Frazier 2 of 4 with 4 RBIs and a run scored. Man, you know that had to be exciting for him. His first home run as a Razorback, and you just hit a grand slam. And I'm so happy for the kid. Iredale comes in late in the game, like we said, and unfortunately, like even the commentator said, coming up to bat after sitting most of the game, that's one of the hardest things to do. You know, you're cold, you haven't seen any pitches, and as good as a hitter as Iredale is, that's tough for anybody to come off cold off the bench and try to need to come in and get a hit. And so our offense keeps rolling. Pitching still needs to shore up some things, like we said. They haven't necessarily gave us the confidence of what we thought we were getting at the beginning of the year. But they're still doing, for the most part, what it takes to get wins, especially in the weekend series. We just saw the sweep from South Carolina. Everybody wants to throw that out the door after we lose a midweek game. But we just got a sweep where on Friday your starting pitcher goes all 7 innings and you run roll a team. You go Saturday and use very limited pitching on Sunday. So, yeah.
Go ahead, Austin.
Just was there a question?
Not really.
I'll be honest, dude. I was kind of zoning a little bit.
He said, "Was there a question?"
I was like, "Was there a question?" I felt like I was back in high school.
Yeah,
I got on by the teacher. I was like, "Uh-oh." No, man. But if we're talking about, like you kind of said it. This midweek game is nothing. Right. I mean, it's not a big deal. They lost by a run in the 10th inning to a decent, mid-major team. It's gonna happen. It happened to Tennessee. It doesn't matter. They got who's coming up next?
Vandy.
I wanted to say Vandy, but I didn't say it. So that's who they got to worry about, really. I mean, they're in the SEC in the SEC conference play right now. That's what's most important. Now, don't go off and lose all the rest of your midweek games. That's not what I'm saying, but like one-off midweek game, I don't care about it. It sucked to watch. I didn't like watching it. Felt bad for Will McIntyre and all the other guys who screwed up. But other than that, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Like Transplant Texan said here, not getting excited about a midweek loss. We can't expect the Hawks to go on the season without some losses along the way. Exactly. Transplant Texan gets it. It's not that big of a deal. Yeah. I mean, I like streaks as much as anybody else. 3-point shooting streaks that Arkansas has. This winning streak that we had. Yeah, it's a great and all, but at the end of the day, yeah, it sucks that we broke that streak, but it's not the end of the world.
Right.
Yeah, like I posted on X last night before I went to sleep. I was like, hey, look, it was just, some nights I really this fan base really gets on my nerves because, just 2 days ago we're celebrating. We're going to Sweet 16. We got the best program start in baseball history. Life is great. And, tonight the world is ending, let's all, just the sky's falling. It's not the end of the world because your team lost the game. And guess who quoted my tweet and shared it? Former shortstop Jalen Battles, and said this right here to my tweet. So, and that's what I try to be a voice of reason for Arkansas baseball on Twitter. And the reason is because the players and the coaches feel the same way that we feel about this midweek game. Like, you can't dwell on it. You have to move past it, and you have to look forward to what really matters, and that's conference play. Because like Dave Van Horn said in the press conference after the game yesterday, they asked him, hey, you think about bringing somebody else in like Wiggins or something? He said, no, the weekend's what matters. Like, we got guys that we need available for the weekend. And he's like, that's why I pulled Gibbler too, because he may pitch for us this weekend. We need guys available to pitch this weekend. So he knows that midweek, he tries to win as much as he can because, he's won 18 midweek games in a row. But at some point, it is what it is. You just move on, and you got to hit the road to go to Nashville and worry about a team that we struggle to beat. It is what it is. We don't have very good success against Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt's not a bad baseball team. They have a great baseball program. Great. Tim Corbin is still there. They got a great coach. They play on that turf field. This is not an easy place to play. They got that stupid whistler. It's not fun. I'm happy for Camden Cozell. It's going to be probably a nerve-wracking, fun weekend for him playing his former team, but it's going to be an interesting weekend because Vanderbilt's 19-5. They're not a bad baseball team, so it's not a given we win this series. And if we finish 1-3 this week and fall in the rankings a little bit, once again, it's not the end of the world because guess who we play next? And we can just pick right back up where we left off. We got Missouri next. Some wins are coming.
Yeah. It's a long baseball season. We got a while till, it's that time of year for postseason. So
if they complaining right now, good Lord, look at the schedule at the end of the year. You don't want to know what's coming.
Exactly. Pigpen said, he said two of his things. He said, I don't know if it's necessarily the loss that's upsetting, but more or less who it's to, maybe. We've always had those back and forth games with Missouri State. I still go back to that game. I don't know how long it's been. It's been at least 8 years-ish where we played them, and it was one of the weirdest games. It would last till like 3 a.m. It was raining.
Never forget it.
Yeah, I'll never forget that game and being at it. But one of those most historic games like that was against Missouri State. We've had, battled them in close matchups year in, year out. It's like we play them twice every year. And there always seems to be close games. There's not really a ton of blowouts with them. They're a good not mid-major, but they're one of those good smaller schools. Like, think about like them. You got Dallas Baptist. They're really good baseball schools.
Right.
So,
and who was the last person the last team they lost to in the midweek?
Lipscomb.
Yeah.
Lipscomb.
Yeah, at home. Yeah.
That was the last home midweek loss, and then we lost to Missouri State in a midweek game. I think they said in 22. I think.
Yeah.
22. So yeah, I mean, it happens. And you got to think, some of these guys probably played like travel ball together, or they played travel ball in Arkansas, because Springfield's just like an hour and a half away from Fayetteville.
And if you watch their celebration, they acted like they won the World Series. I mean, they care way more about it than we do.
Yeah.
So
good for them. They gotta win against the number 2 team in the country. That's cool. Whenever they grow old and they, they're sitting around the fire with their grandkids, they get to say, guess what? I beat the number 2 Arkansas Razorbacks whenever I was in college. That's great for them. Does it matter in the grand scheme of things? No,
absolutely not. What matters is in June, because I'll tell you right now, whatever we do right now, we can lose midweek games, we can lose series. It doesn't matter what we do. We could win every game from here on out. If they lose in a super regional or a regional, all hell's gonna break out loose. So it does. None of this matters in the grand scheme of things until we get to May. So
yeah,
I mean, bitching. Oh, sorry, complain all you want, but it's what happens in the regional what really matters.
Right. Exactly. Pigpen also said, y'all catch that Vice documentary on Calipari and the team? Yes, I have, and it is fantastic. Great. If you haven't got to watch it out there, Razorback Nation, find a way to watch it. It's really good.
They're releasing them on Monday. YouTube for free.
Yeah, they're getting ready to release them on YouTube. Go check them out. It gives you great insight into the program and Cal, and a lot of behind the scenes. Like, it walks you through a lot of like inside information, not like secret inside information, but it gives you a really great perspective on the inner workings of, Cal and his staff, and, practices. And even though they have one whole episode dedicated to his return to Kentucky when Arkansas went into Rupp and beat them. And, it just goes you throughout the season. It kind of shows you the highs and lows of the season and, how this team's doing. It's fantastic.
And the cool thing about it is they had another one going at the same time for Rick Pitino in St. John's. So I don't know if it's going to happen or whatnot, but they might have like just a special episode of whenever they played against each other in the second round. I don't know for a fact, but they I mean, you would think about it. Those guys from Vice are probably like, oh yes, this is perfect. Like, you couldn't have written it better.
Like a bonus joint episode of Razor's Edge meets Red Storm.
Red Storm or whatever it's called. Yeah,
it's Red Storm. Yeah.
So
they just used their mascot. That's lame.
Well, they used to be called the Red Men a long time ago, but they had.
Well, and they also are nicknamed the Johnnies too.
Right. But officially, it's Red Storm. Which I went to school at Henderson State, so I know a thing or two about mascots that don't mean a damn thing. So they're called the Reddies, and they were called the Reddies because they wore red jerseys. That's it. And their mascot, like when you see on their mascot on the sidelines, it's a heart, like a legit, like a heart.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, that is. I didn't like that. I was like, Reddies are cool, but don't go in the heart costume. That's dumb.
that is
but
pretty.
but they would kick butt when I was going there, so it didn't really matter. But
Yeah.
yep.
But yeah, so more stuff going on in Razorback Nation this weekend. Softball has Kentucky coming to town. Your Razorbacks play tomorrow. Now about 24 hours exactly. Hopefully that game
3
doesn't run
minutes.
late. But Arkansas basketball playing in the Sweet 16 against Texas Tech. Arkansas baseball headed to Nashville to take on Vanderbilt. And it's going to be another fun weekend. I can't wait for it. A little bit of update on gymnastics. Arkansas will be participating in the NCAA gymnastics regionals starting Thursday, April 3rd. They'll take on number 1 LSU, of course. It'll be a tri-meet between Arkansas, number 1 LSU, and Michigan in University Park. And then you'll also, so it'll be a 4-team meet, and it'll be LSU, Michigan, Arkansas, then Maryland or West Virginia it's like a play-in meet. Meet.
Huh.
Whatever you want to call it. It's like a play-in game, essentially, to see which team gets to go. So Thursday, April 3rd at 6 o'clock, they will get started in the NCAA gymnastics regionals. So we'll keep you guys up to date. Can't wait to watch along tomorrow, see what happens. I'm excited for this game tomorrow. Like Austin said, if we can keep winning, it's going to be hard to sleep as a Razorback fan. So, all right, before we get out here, Big Pen has a question. It says, baseball question. Who is the pitcher that gave up all the runs? Is this going to be a trend where Dave leaves guys in too long with 10-plus pitchers? You'd think they'd have a shorter leash. Hobbs, go for it.
So I've talked about it a little bit about when he left. I believe it was Tate McGuire. Was it Tate McGuire left in too long or no?
Well,
No.
Geckel.
Yes, Gackel against Charlotte. I talked about this with Gackel against Charlotte. I felt like he should have pulled him a lot sooner than he did. That's why his ERA is higher than it is, as high as it is right now in the season. He just didn't have it, and he should have pulled him. This is the only thing that I will question Dave Van Horn on is he does tend to leave pitchers in a little bit too long. I wish he would have made that decision last year with Hagen Smith in some of his games, but he kept saying he wanted to save Hagen Smith down the road. Well, there ended up not being no more down the road. So, yeah, he tends to leave pitchers in too long. Now that was a weekend series. Last night was a midweek game where you didn't want to burn the guys that you need for the weekend. You brought McIntyre in, which he just didn't have anything at all last night. He kept falling behind and having to throw pitches down the middle so he could try to get back in the count, and they just crushed him. So yeah, he leaves guys in too long. He does. I'm not gonna lie to you and tell you he doesn't. There's been times where I'm saying, please go get him, and he doesn't. A lot of that has to do with not necessarily conceding games, but he wants to save guys for other times, because I saw several comments about, should have brought in Wiggins, should have done this. Maybe in a more important game, yeah, absolutely. But Wiggins just pitched 2 days ago, and he's not really pitched him multiple times like that very so soon. So not really something that, and Fouch is just all over the place right now. So you couldn't really trust him either, because he's been inconsistent. So McIntyre had been really sharp here lately. He really had. So I think hitters were hitting 147 or 187 against him. He's been really good lately, and he just didn't have it last night. So I don't really blame him for trusting a guy that's been here for so long and hoping that he keeps a 5-run lead. And people say he shouldn't have took out Gibler. Well, Gibler struck out 7 in a row, and then he gave up 2 base hits. So to say it wasn't time to take him out, I don't know about that, because the kid pitched 45 pitches. He's not used to throwing that many pitches in a game. And he also mentioned in the press game conference, Dave did, he may want to save that arm for the weekend a little bit, because quite frankly, the kid has earned a chance to pitch on the weekend. He is nasty. And beside the home run they hit off him as soon as he got in the game, they couldn't touch this kid until I guess he got tired and gave up them 2 base hits. 7 strikeouts in a row. He's just got nasty stuff. So, yeah, he does tend to leave men a little bit long, but even in the College World Series championship game against Oregon State, he left Cronin in a long time. Cronin threw a lot of pitches in the span of a couple of days, but unfortunately, you didn't have many people. And even in 21, when Cops was all we had, he kept Cops in there. But we couldn't score any runs that game, which was crazy. I don't want to get into that. That was very heartbreaking. But yeah, to end this question, I would say yes, he does keep him in too long. But also at the same time, you got 3 games to play this weekend. You got to try to win two of them, win the series. You're going to try to win all 3, but you got to win at least 2 of them to win the series. And you need all the arms that you were saving from pitching yesterday this weekend. You're going to need all of them.
Exactly. There you go. Good answer from Hobbs there. Exactly. Dave, it is a tendency, but also he's trying to play it where he can keep his key guys for the weekend. So with that, we'll keep you guys up to date. I'm excited to watch the game tomorrow. It's going to be a fun one. We're going to get out of here. Before we do, don't forget to like and subscribe to the show on YouTube, Apple Podcast, Spotify. You can find our episodes as well. Like and subscribe there as well. We thank everybody for tuning in tonight. It's going to be a fun late one tomorrow. Get ready to tune in and then watch some baseball and softball over the weekend. And with that, we're going to get out of here. But have a great rest of your week. And pending results tomorrow, we may have another special episode to do some previewing for the next round potentially. So be on the lookout for that. So make sure you hit that bell on YouTube. That way, anytime we go live and you don't miss it. And with that, we're going to get out of here. Everybody have a great rest of your week. And we'll see you on Sunday or potentially earlier. And everybody have a great weekend.